All right, I'm back. Let's see here. Let's see, we got some Q&A. All right, guys, you guys know the rules. If you have questions, drop it in the Q&A box. Light up the chat with whatever you want to talk about. But if you got questions, put it in the Q&A box, all right? All right, so it looks like we have G.I., G.CAD, G.Chef, and G.J. All right. Now, be careful, guys. Wednesdays are typically reversal days. All right, so this is where you want to be careful. All right, I'm going to show you guys a trick, an AIRO secret to understanding the GBP pairs. All right, so we'll go back to the charts. I like to see the GBP pairs 4 or more doing the same thing. Now, what do I mean by 4 or more? All right, so look at it. There's no zone up here, right? GBP, NZD. We have nice room to the next zone. We got nice room to the next zone. 74 pips. GBP, JPY is right there at the zone. You know what I'm saying? It's right there at the zone. So if it breaks out, it's going to hit the zone in reverse. GBP, AUD, we have nice room to the upside. Over 45 pips right there. GBP, CAD, we have nice upside to the next zone. 47 pips. And GBP CHF is at the zone. So you look at it, 1 is at the zone, 2 is right at the zone, and the other 4 all have nice room or no zone at all. Typically, if you have 4 or more and they're moving strongly in one direction, you're going to have all 6 moving in that direction. So the 4 we want to concentrate on are GBP USD, GBP NZD, GBP AUD, and GBP CAD. All right, these are the 4 we want to look at. So I'm gonna put GJ to the back here. Now we want to make sure, do these 4 fit the criteria on strategy 3 when it comes to the rules? All right, so we'll start off with GBP USD. We're gonna mark, let's see, what time is it here? 12:17. So mark the high and mark the low, and then measure it. We're marking a high and a low. Here's the start of the money zone right here on this candle. This is the start of the money zone. So we're marking the high of this candle and then the low of this candle. This is the high and low of the Asia session. This is the Asia channel. Now we want to measure it. Does it meet the rules? It is 60, almost 63 pips wide. We're not going to touch it. We're going to leave that alone. Leave that one alone. All right. So GBP USD doesn't make the cut. GBP NZD. Let's check that one out. I'm going to zoom in. We're going to mark the high. Boom. We're going to mark the low. Boom. We're going to measure. $70 pips. We're not touching that one. GBP AUD. Zoom in. We're going to mark the high. We're going to mark the low. We're going to measure. GBP AUD. 44 pips. All right. GBP AUD meets the criteria. It's less than 50 pips. All right. GBP CAD. Same thing. Zoom in. Mark the high. At the body. Remember, always at the body. Mark the low at the body. And measure the Asia channel. 52 pips. Does not meet the criteria. All right. And then these don't meet the criteria because they're already at the next zone. So the only one that we really have that meets the criteria is GBP AUD. And unless I see a strong bull candle, I probably would stay away from this one here. So I probably wouldn't look to trade the Asia session breakout because 5 out of your 6 do not meet the criteria, which means that there's a smaller probability that you won't have a breakout. Because if only one meets the criteria, one breaking out versus all six, tough. The more you have that meet the criteria, the stronger probability you have to catch the trade. All right. So we'll just see how it plays out. All right. We'll see how it plays out. A lot of news came out today. So we had a lot of movement in Asia session. So for those who weren't watching, there's a lot of news that came out. That's why we have really big, really wide Asia channels. All right. Stop sharing. Let me check here the chat. Remember, if you have questions, put them in the chat. Put them in the Q&A. So we had a question about the red candles and what they represent. So let's go back and look at those real quick. So the candles, if they are red, they represent downtrend. All right. They represent the downtrend. If it's green, they represent that price is in an uptrend based on the formula that I have utilized in the software. All right. That's all that means. You see here, there's more green candles than red because we're in an uptrend. All right. And then if you go back and look last week when we were in a downtrend, there was more red candles than green candles. All right. So all the candles represent are the overall trend and the strength of that trend. All right. All right, guys. So on this call here, I'm not going to go over any Bitcoin. I'm not going to go over gold or indices. We want to stick to trading the forex pairs because the majority of everyone that's on these calls are beginners. All right. BTC though is beasting, but we're not going to really dissect the charts for Bitcoin. All right. Not going to really dissect the charts. All right. So we had a question about finding the high and the low for Asia sessions. All right. So let's go back and look at it. The high and the low, like is explained in the video. If you have not gone and watched strategy number 3 video, you need to go watch the video. All right. Again, make sure you watch the videos. They explain everything to a T. Watch it over and over again. What you want to do is look at what's in between this vertical line here, which is the start of the new Forex day, and then the beginning of the money zone, which was this candle right here. Whatever is the highest candle at the body in between the vertical line here and the start of money zone is the high of this session. And then wherever the low at the body is the low of the session. That's why we mark the high here at the body and the low here at the body. They're the lowest points on the actual chart during this time frame. All right. That's how you find the high and the low. Hold on. I don't think I'm showing my screen. I better share screen. I apologize, guys. Again, here's the vertical line, the start of the new. Here is the start of the money zone on this candle right here. All right. Start of the new day, start of the new candle of the money zone. So in between here is the Asia session. So the high is here. It's the high at the body. We don't care about the wicks. It's the highest point during these 2 time frames. and then the lowest point at the body is here. Therefore, that's how we find our high and we find our low. And now we're waiting for a breakout, which we're having right now. All right. Jump back here and get on these questions here. All right, so we got questions about one-click trading. All right, guys, one-click trading. I'm gonna share my screen. If you want to get this little button here, it's called one-click trading on your screen. You want to right-click on the black part of your screen, select one-click trading to turn it off, and turn it on. All right. Once you turn it on, you can do three things with it. Number one, you can set the lot size right here. I've got mine set at a 1.00. That's a $10 per pip lot size, a standard lot. So based on your account size, I recommend a 0.01 for every dollar that you have in your account. So if you have $1,000 in your account, I recommend a 0.1 because that's 0.01 times 10. If you have $500 in your account, I recommend a 0.05. All right. Now, outside of that, you have the sell button and the buy button. What they like is quickly enter into trades. You select sell, you select buy, it'll put a trade on. The sell button will put a sell at this white line here, which is the bid line. All right. So when I put sell, it will literally put a sell dotted line, green line here at the white line, which is the bid line. If I hit buy, it'll put a buy. My entry will be at the ask line, which is the red line here. All right. Buy and sell. So we got GBP looking to break out. BPUSD not really doing nothing. NZD breaking down. GCAD breaking down, down, down. Only one, again, that met the rules is somewhat trying to break up. I don't like it. So I don't take that trade. But you can see the rest of them are looking to break down. If they're all above line, oh, we might be good. But they're all breaking downward or right, just hanging out right where they're right where the money zone starts. So we'll see what happens in the next few minutes. Got any questions? Put them in the Q&A, guys. I'm answering questions in the Q&A. All right, so that's a popular question. Let's go ahead and get it started. So the question is, how do you calculate? Oh yeah, that's moving good. How do you calculate the money zone for the time frame standpoint? All right, for version 2. So if we go to indicators list here, AIRO V2, you can see here the money zone, begin and end. So for me, I know the money zone started. We come here based on your broker. What you want to do is go to the very first candle of where of 12 a.m. Central Standard Time, wherever that is in the world for you. So that had been 2 candles ago, which would be this one right here. This was 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. And for me, you can look at it. This is the very first candle. And if I look on my broker time down here, you guys see I'm circling down here. It says 2020, 12/17, 0800. So 0800, 2020, 12/17, 0800. So I know that my money zone starts at 0800. And I know if I go back to indicators list, I type in 0800 here, and then 12 hours later is going to be 2000 because it's in military time. That is going to be your money zone. All right. So at 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. We got a nice little breakout. So go see what the other GP pairs are doing. I might have to jump into this trade though. GU, GN, GU's breaking up. We got a zone on GCAD all of a sudden. G-Chef, we already know is at the zone. So I'm still not going to take this trade. GU, it broke above, but you can also see N didn't. GCAD didn't. It actually hit in the zone right at that level, that that 8 session high. And then GJ and G-Chef are already too close to the zones. So we now have 3 pairs with zones. GN's not doing anything. GU is barely broke out. There's no real strong momentum. So trade at your own risk, guys. I'm not taking this trade. I'm not taking this trade. We miss it, we miss it. Another reason I'm not taking the trade here, you can see here levels of support and resistance. Right here, look at this. You see where price came to and touched multiple times over and over again, which is right where we're at. So that's a natural level. It wouldn't surprise me if another candle or two, we get another zone right here on GA. All right. This is how you know not to always take trades. So sometimes I don't take certain trades because I can see here, again, this is correlation. When you look at the pound pairs, they all typically correlate. And you can typically see they're typically all going in the same direction. GJ and GN, Great Britain pound, Japanese yen, Great Britain pound, New Zealand dollar, they have minds of their own. So sometimes they'll just go against the trend altogether. All right. But for the most part, they trend together. And so if I don't have at least 4 doing the same thing, I'm not looking to take a trade. I need at least 4 more doing the same thing to feel comfortable of taking the trade. All right. If they're all doing the same thing, I feel a little better. If I miss a trade and this thing runs up for 50 pips, hey, we miss it. It's all about high probability trades because this one could easily head right back down and a zone pops up right here and we're stopped out. All right. You see, so that's why I don't take the trade all the time, just because it meets the rules. Sometimes, that's about looking. It's another reason why I selected 6 pound pairs and the same thing with the euro pairs, 4 euro pairs, sticking with them because they typically correlate with each other as well. All right. So that is, let me go back to talk about the money zone. We know that the money zone started 2 candles ago. So again, take your horizontal and your vertical line, put it on that candle that started the money zone, which was 2 candles ago. Look down here and see what your server time is. That 0800 is your actual start time, or whatever your time says. And then you add 12 hours to that in military time. So if it says 0300, then you know that you're in time. And again, we'll go back to it here. Indicator list, arrow V2. So if this says 0300, where we started at down here, then we know that the end time is going to be 1500 because it's 12 hours. 0800 to 2000, that's 12 hours because that's military time frame. All right, that's how you calculate it. It's all based on 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's why I put it on there. 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you need to figure out what time 12 a.m. Central Standard Time starts on your chart with your broker. All right. Let me jump back here real quick. With the bounce arrow go strategy, if I get a bounce arrow go, I'm good. I don't care about how many candles are in between the bounce and the arrow. I don't care. Bounce, go. Bounce, arrow, go. The only time I care about is if we're looking for a bounce arrow go in the buy direction and I get a sell arrow before I get the up arrow off the bounce. Then I don't take any arrows. But if I don't care. It could be 50 candles later. If I get an up arrow after it bounced off of support for the up, I'm good. All right, so a couple people are asking about why they have zones and I don't have one. And the reason is some brokers have different price points. And because some brokers have different price points, you're going to have typically zones popping up where you may not see it with other brokers. It's all depending on the broker you're with. All right. All right, guys, not going to do Fibonacci right now. Strategy 8 hasn't really been announced yet, but it will be coming out, and it will show how to utilize Fibonacci, set certain Fibonacci settings uh, with AIRO. All right, so look out for that coming next year. All right, guys. Let's see here. So I've had a couple people ask about using trailing stops. Reason why I say with the standard strategy, you're not use trailing stops because you're just going for a quick scalp. I would use trailing stop potentially if you are trading the swing trading strategy. So if you're swing trading, then I would recommend using the trailing stop then. All right, let me go ahead and talk about this as well, so I can update everybody here real soon. So the AIRO pips, it shows perfectly on mine. Some people who have similar size screens as mine, it shows perfectly. Some who have slightly bigger are showing more towards the center. Some are showing to the far right. So what I'm going to do is readjust it. So I'm going to add a version, probably a version 2.1 or version 3, whatever I decide to call it, to where AIRO pips will always be right up underneath the one-click button. All right. That way, it's easier for everyone to find because the bigger the screen you have, the harder it is for the settings, the software to keep the AIRO pips where it needs to be at, just due to some people using bigger and smaller screens. So we put it over on the far left hand, right underneath this here. We should have no problem. So look out for the update this weekend. Next week, you guys should have AIRO pips. Everyone should have it in a place where you can always see it. It's either going to be right underneath here, or I'll put it on the bottom left hand corner. So we'll get that taken care of for you guys. Got a lot of people asking which broker I use. I use Hugo's Way. So Hugo's Way is a good broker. They have Bitcoin and cryptos you can trade over the weekend and whatnot. So yeah, that's Hugo's Way is the broker that I utilize for those who want to know. I have a lot of people ask me about showing the euro pair. So let's jump into the charts real quick. We'll take a look at the euro pairs. There are no true setups. As you guys see with the pound pairs, look what everything's doing. Heading back down. All right. Heading back down. Heading back down. All right. Euro pair. Euro JPY. It's not even close to a zone. So we're waiting for a bounce. All right. Euro GBP. It's right at a zone. So we're waiting for a breakout somewhere. Euro odd, nothing. Euro NZD, nothing. So right now, nothing there. A lot of people, I have 10 recommended pairs. If there are any moves in there, we can look at other pairs. You don't have to stick to those 10. There are other pairs that do have some volatility that you can trade, but these are the 10 that I recommend because they have the volatility, to trade both during the London session and New York, which is pretty much the majority of what the actual money zone is composed of. All right. So with that being said, let's go see if we can look at another pair. USD CHF. Nothing really going on there. USD CAD. Not really much going on right there. It's inside of a zone. It's in a downtrend, so we're not touching that one. That's more of a US pair anyway, so more of a New York session pair. CHF JPY. Now remember, guys, if you don't find a trade, don't force it. It's that time of year right now where holidays are coming. People are on vacation. The people that actually trade the markets are on vacation. The market makers are on vacation. So if you don't see a trade, don't force it. Never force a trade. All right. Never force a trade. You don't have to trade every day. If you wake up and you're in a group and you group chat, you see people have already, made cockpits for the day and you missed out, don't force a trade trying to catch up to everybody. If you don't see nothing, you don't see nothing. Some days you get no trades. Some days you get 2 trades. Some days you get 10 trades. Just that's how it works. You take what you get. The market's going to give you setups. And if you sleep during a certain time frame or working, whatever the case may be, you may miss some setups. But there's always going to be another setup. All right? Always going to be another setup. Let's see here. Look at some of these JPYs. See what they're doing right now. Nice little downtrend there. Nothing really going on with that one. Too close to the zone. NZD JPY. Nothing really going on there. It's in a downtrend though. So we had a bounce. So if we get to come down here and get an arrow, might be a good trade. So I'll keep that one up. Let's see what happens. NZD CAD. It's in an uptrend, so we're looking for buys. So we missed it. Beautiful buy right there. Bounce, arrow, outside the money zone. It works sometimes, guys. Outside the money zone. High probability or inside the money zone. So we'll close that one there. Market looking kind of dead tonight. I thought we had more action. So we'll give the market some time to warm up. Typically, we really start moving about an hour, 2 hours in. Let me get back to some questions here. I'm answering questions in the chat. I mean, the Q&A. I'm sorry. So we got questions in the Q&A. I'm answering basic questions. If you got a question about it, make sure to go back and watch the strategy videos. All right, they're there for you to watch over and over again so that you can understand to a T. And then the next thing you need to do is jump into a demo account and practice. Practice marking up your charts of where you put your entry at, where you put your stop loss at. Practice, if you're looking at strategy 3, mark up your charts, set up your age assessment channel, mark up where you would get in at. So follow the steps in the video, practice, then do it live with the demo account, and then as you get consistent with it, then start taking those trades live. All right. I got a few questions around best tips for new traders. All right, so best tips for new traders are number one, master strategy number one. If you can master strategy number one, you'll be good to go. That's really all you need. You can make a very good living and return on your investment, with just strategy number one. So if you're new and you ask you for, what's the best tip to give you? Master strategy number one. All right, strategy number one. So people are asking about outside of my 10 recommended pairs, what pairs would I recommend? So any pairs ending with JPY, that's the Japanese yen. The Japanese yen is the third most traded currency pairs. So any JPY pairs, they have good volatility. USD CAD has good volatility, but that's more of a trade you would take during New York session for JPYs. All right, but that's what I recommend. Your JPYs, you would take during more towards you can trade them both in London and New York, but outside the 10 that I recommend, anything that ends with JPY, is definitely a good pair to jump in there. And then, USD CAD is a good one as well, due to the volatility. So I'm getting questions about why do I trade SPX 500 and gold on M5 timeframes? Again, this is not these aren't pairs that I talk about or teach on. I do trade them, and that's what I mainly trade. But they are very volatile. So the more volatile a pair is, the lower the time frame you should trade on it from a scalping standpoint. I scalp, and so what that allows me to do is have more precise entries, so that my drawdown is less. The indices and gold, on higher time frames can have some nasty drawdown, and we're talking about 100, 200 pips, even while it's still an uptrend. A nice pullback could be 300 pips for an indice, and then it turns around and goes 800 pips the right way. So that is why I go into lower time frames. I get more precise entries and lower drawdown. All right, that's the goal. You want to preserve your capital. All right. All right, so a lot of people keep saying that when they add V2, they're not seeing the change. You need to ensure that you are deleting off version 1. All right, so let's go look at that. Let me share my screen. A lot of people are doing this. A lot of people are not taking version 1 off. What you want to do is right-click on the chart, go to Indicators List. If you see AIRO V1 and AIRO V2, select AIRO V1, hit delete, hit OK, close. All right? Must delete it off the chart. Only have AIRO V2 on the chart. All right. If that doesn't work, you need to just close all your charts out, reboot the VPS, bring all your charts back up, and then place AIRO V2 on there. AIRO V1 will be gone this weekend. All right. So be prepared. AIRO V1 will disappear this weekend. We will make the announcement. AIRO V3 or whatever I call it, 2.1, will be in place this weekend, and I will get rid of AIRO V2. There will only be one AIRO version this weekend. The reason why we added 2 this week is so that there would be no issues, as has been seen with the other pairs, with the other products. We want to make sure that, you guys had a good experience. So if you want to use V1 for the rest of the week, hey, use it, and we want to make sure that V2 is available so that if you want to change over, you could. But, ensure that we didn't just make you and force you to change over while you were trading. All right. So that is why we rolled it out that way. I will continue to roll things out that way because it is less intrusive, on you guys. You guys can convert over to the new one as needed, and not have to worry about, having any issues. So we can see here, had anybody taken that trade on GA, drawdown is 20 pips. 20 pips right now. GU, GN, they're trying to head back up. So they might still break out, but you look at it, everything is right there at the zone. So we'll see how it goes as we get closer in the London session. But again, I have to see correlation. I need to see 4 out of 6 doing the same thing or more, 4 or more out of the 6 doing the same thing, for me to feel comfortable taking the trade. So that's what I mean by correlation. That's why I didn't take that trade right there. All right, guys, we talked about this last week. Let's start making sure we're watching these videos because we record everything for you guys. Here's how you add more pairs to the VPS. If you want to add more pairs to your chart, you want to go to File. You want to go to View, Symbols. You have all your pairs up here. They may be called something different based on your broker. You want to then select FX Majors or just Forex. or FX crosses or Forex crosses. Find the pairs you want to add and double click them until the icon with the dollar sign in it turns gold. When it turns gold and you come back here, you'll have more pairs in your charts. This right here is add chart menu button. So you create a new chart, you come here, right underneath file, create a new chart. You have to go to view, symbols, double click to make sure the gold is showing. Therefore, every pair that has a gold icon next to it, you can actually pull up on the create chart. All right, let's make sure, hey, all these videos are recorded, guys. Let's make sure we're going back and watching these videos and get this value. All right, we'll make sure we get on these charts. We can concentrate on just talking about AIRO. All right, there's also videos and AP Academy that go over all of the same information, guys. Make sure you're watching the videos and getting the value. The value is there for you guys. Everything you need is there for you. You guys got to take the time to jump in on it. All right, got to take the time to spend time. You can't take shortcuts. That'll be the fastest way to blow an account. Trust me, I've done it. All right, guys, I get a lot of people asking me, how do I know when to trade which strategy on which day? So if you have to ask that question, you haven't had enough time on the charts, which means that stick to strategy number one, master that strategy, then add another strategy. All right? Stick to strategy number one, master that one, then add another strategy. All right? If you get to the point where you have two strategies mastered, good. There will be 8 based on different types of trading styles and based on different times of the day. All right. But if you master strategy number one and maybe one more, that's all you really need. Don't try to master them all. Start off with number one. That needs to be one you mastered for sure. And then you go and look at, maybe adding one more. But there are many people in the group that are making thousands of dollars only using strategy number one. So strategy number one, again, the highest probability in strategy number one. As I get into 3, 4 is very similar to 3. All right, you guys will see it tomorrow. Number 4 strategy that comes out tomorrow is very similar to number 3. And these strategies, again, you have to have it there for more experienced traders. This software is a trading system. There are multiple strategies. As we go further into the strategy, they get more advanced. Videos get a little longer. So if you're not an advanced trader, stick to strategy number 1. All right, and then as you get more consistent with strategy number 1, look to add maybe strategy number 2 or strategy number 3. But when we get to 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, they're more for advanced traders. All right. Do not try to just skip and start trading strategy number 7. Master number 1. If you're a newbie, this is the worst thing you can do. Take the time to master strategy number 1. Build from there. I'm telling you, strategy number 1 works. All right. My 16-year-old, for those in the group, my 16-year-old cousin used strategy number 2 because he doesn't have time to set the charts all day. He's 16. He goes to school. He has a lawn care business, and he's a chef at 16. And he used strategy number 2. He can place longer trades. I just set him up with AIRO this past Sunday. He's already made $3,000. Now it's demo, but he's demo because I'm not going to let him go live until he can prove to me how consistent he is. $3,000 he's made. He went, I think, 4 out of 6 trades, but he's up $3,000 within the first, since Sunday. So today's technically Thursday. So in the first 3 days, 4 days, he's up over $3,000 in his demo account. 16, follow strategy number 1 or 2, master those before you want to look to branch out to anything else as the higher the number, the higher the number, the more advanced the strategy becomes. Someone asked what lot size was he using. He has a $10,000 demo account. He's using proper risk management, which is a 0.01 lot size for every $100. So he's using a standard lot for every, for a $10,000 account. So he's practicing proper risk management. He's using a 40 pip stop loss, but he's expanding his take profits to the 100, 150 pip mark because he doesn't have the time to sit in front of the charts and just take 20 pips here and there. So he's catching longer trades because that is a strategy he felt would work best for him based on his schedule with school and things. All right. Let me get back in these Q&A box here. So questions about the candles. There's no real difference between the different candles. You don't get caught up in the small nuances of the software. All right. Nothing about the candles really mean anything when it comes to the actual strategy. All right. Dark green candles means the trend is not confirmed to be an uptrend. Light green means it's confirmed. All right. That's all. Same thing with the red, dark red and light red. All right. Don't get caught in the small things, guys. And these type of questions, they're explained in the strategy videos, the setup videos. Please watch these videos, guys. Please watch them so that you have all the questions you guys are asking are answered in these videos. All right, guys. A lot of people are asking about when is the automated, AIRO coming out. There's no timeline on it yet. All right, guys. I've got to test it out myself to make sure it meets my level of standards. And then, Auvoria Prime has their own testing period. All right, so look for it sometime late spring, early summer, maybe sooner if we can expedite things. But can't rush these things. I've got to make sure it meets my standards, and then of course the beta test group and the other testers inside of Warrior probably have to go through it as well. All right, let's go look at the charts here. Let's go look here. GI heading down, still heading down, even lower. GBP USD breaking up. I wonder why. Let's go take a look at the news real quick here. So the news app I like to use, I like to use the MyFX Book app on my phone. All right, MyFX Book. That's the app that I use on my phone, and then also on my computer I can go look at Forex Factory to look at news. As you guys can see here, you had a nice little spike up on a few of these pairs, and then they're all heading right back down. All right, same thing with GU. Spike up, heading back down. So I don't know. You see G, for those who are in GA, I hope you didn't get in. You can see here, we're heading lower, over 20 pips, over 20 pips now, drawdown, and nothing really is breaking up to the upside. So again, ensuring that you understand correlating pairs will keep you out of trouble. So tonight we've got a lot of news coming out on Euro over the next hour. Low news, nothing high. Some Swiss franc news in about an hour and a half, and Euro news in about 2 hours. So some more Swiss franc news in another 2 hours. And then by the time we get off, you got some more news with the Euro. You got some high news for Swiss franc in about 2 hours. So by the time we get off the call, is when that news will be coming out. Let me jump back in this Q&A while we wait. See if we can't find something. Now we're coming down. You're not doing that in your GP. Your JPY. And again, guys, I'm not expecting to catch pips consistently because of the way the market is right now with, again, the holidays. So when the market gets back to normal, come second week of January, then you start to see the market pick up more consistently, and you start to see that you're going to have more and more easily identifiable setups. All right. So right now, you're not seeing things that look pretty, and you're asking questions. Like someone asked a question about what do you do when you see a lot of arrows bunched up together coming back to back? There's nothing. This is ranging. I mean, it's just ranging. All right. That's all it means. Price is ranging. You do nothing. Do nothing. All right. Now, if you were inside the money zone, you could take some of these buys, but this is outside the money zone. So you do nothing. If it's not inside the money zone, don't do nothing. If it's outside the money zone, don't worry about it. All right. All that means is that price is ranging when you start to get these back-to-back signals on the same pair. A couple people asked about duplicate signals. Most of the time, they're not duplicate. They can be ranging. You can see here on back-to-back candles, you can receive signals. And if you go look at the timestamp, they're coming at different time frames. It may be for the same pair, but they're coming at different time frames, which means it's just another arrow, another trade opportunity, but you want to make sure it meets your rules. If it doesn't meet the rules, don't worry about it. All right. Let's go back here in this Q&A real quick here. Cool, Jason, man. Yeah, man. Get that sleep, man. Get that sleep. Corey, babypips.com. Yes, I learned a lot from babypips.com. A lot about the fundamentals. Let me jump back in here. Someone's asking about USD ZAR. I do not teach trade the exotic pairs. All right. Because of their volatility. All right. All right, guys. A lot of questions coming in. I'm answering them myself, so please be patient with me. I'm a one man. All right, guys, let's go look at GBP NZD. People keep asking me why we're not taking the GBP NZD buy. All right, let's go look at it. So as we talked about, we don't have enough correlating action going on with the pairs. All right, that's why I'm sticking away from the GBP NZD, GBP CAD, GJ, all of them. All right, you see here, G Chef and GJ are already at the zones. All right, GCAD has a zone. It might break through it, it might not. It's a zone. You see it struggling right there. So right now, 3 out of 6 are looking to reverse. GNZD, even though it has a bag entry, I'm probably going to stay away from it from the standpoint of the correlation that we just talked about. Could it break up? Sure, it probably could. GPUSD, it's got a little break up there. It's trying to do something. GPR, it's just ranging right now. So the market's dead. That's why I probably wouldn't take the GPNZD trade. Right now, you'd be down about 11 pips. So nothing crazy. That's why I would take it. If you want to take it, hey, sure, go ahead. It matches the rules. But the reason why I wouldn't take it, and I may be wrong, it may break up and run 100 pips. I wouldn't take the trade, though, because of the correlations. I'm seeing what the other pairs are doing. I skip trades when I see stuff like this. I'm like, okay, G Chef, zone, GJ, zone, GCAD at the zone. So I want to have, again, like I talked about, I want to have 4 pairs of GP pairs. I want to have 4 or more that have the room to move. All right, 4 or more. They don't all need an arrow, but they need to have, as I call it, blue skies, room to move. If I don't have that, we're not, I'm not satisfied with the opportunity of taking, a pound pair. So I've gone over this a couple of times. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Stop answering questions right now. I just heard my chart go off. Let's go take a look to see what we got a notification on. So we have a notification on Euro odd for a sale. Euro odd. It's on a downtrend, but it's right at a zone. Right at a zone. All right. GBP NZD. It's falling. GBP odd. Look at that. Falling. If you were in GBP AUD and you took that trade, You were stopped out at 40 pips. Again, this is why I talk about correlation. Do not take every trade. Correlation is the main reason why I took, I selected these main 6 pairs, not only just because of their ADR, but also because of correlation. Correlation is key from the standpoint of understanding like pairs that move together. So we have most of those pairs moving together, you have a better chance of winning in that direction. When you only have one or two, your probabilities go down. And if people think about them moving in the same directions, you have the opportunity to do what? To catch multiple trades. You might, if you got everything moving just together, you might be able to trade 2 or 3 of them at the same time and hit TP all at the same time, and really have your night done. All right. So correlating pairs it makes sense. All right. Got to understand correlation. GBP and GD, we're down almost 20 pips now and heading in the down direction. So why I didn't take that trade, guys? That's why I didn't take it. It's okay not to take trade. Want to force it. All right. I'm not a genius. I just have been trading a long time and I've made a lot of mistakes and I've learned from those mistakes. All right. I understand more about the market, correlating pairs, supply and demand zone, support and resistance, price action. Like I said, understanding institutional investors and how they trade, market makers, how they trade, things of that nature. So I spent the time and the resources to learn more about how to trade so that I can stop losing money. Back in the day, I'd have took this trade and I'd have got blown out the water. All right. So you live and you learn. I'm just trying to give you guys a shortcut. And again, but I thought about not taking shortcuts, but this is a good shortcut. This is a shortcut you need to take. And this is the shortcut to knowing when not to take trades so that you can preserve your capital. The whole goal is make money. Warren Buffett says learn how to make more. I'm sorry. Warren Buffett has 2 rules. Make more money. And then rule number 2 is don't forget about number 1. Then he has another set of rules, which is don't lose money. And his rule number 2 for that is don't forget about rule number 1. So you want to learn how to make more and you want to learn how to not lose money. And then you want to learn, don't forget about those 2 rules. Find ways to make money consistently and then also ensure that you're not losing money consistently. And then don't forget those rules. Don't lose money. So don't do things that's going to cause you to lose money, but do things properly to make sure you're going to have the highest probability chance to make money. And then don't forget about those 2 rules. All right. Jump back in here and see what's going on in the Q&A box. So somebody asked me about correlating pairs. So I'm going to make a bonus video that I'm going to drop for you guys talking about a lot of the secrets when trading AIRO. And correlating pairs is one that I'll be talking about in that secrets video. So be on the lookout for that, guys. All right, so we got a lot of people asking about correlating pairs, so we'll go over it, what I look for, so you guys can understand here. So with correlating pairs, I look for a couple of things. I look to see how they are moving, in what direction. So first thing I want to look at is what I talked about. I look at the zones. So I can see here, I know these two pairs, Great Britain pound, Japanese yen, Great Britain pound, CHF, which is Swiss franc. I knew both of those were at a zone. Remember, we want to have 20 pips distance or more before we take the trade. Well, you got 2 out of the 6 that are at a zone. All right. GCAD had a zone right there. It disappeared. And again, do not worry about zones appearing and disappearing. That happens. The software is created that way to replicate what happens in the true market. When price hits a zone right here, there's a support. When price breaks through that support, it doesn't need to stay there because otherwise it looks like it's still there. If it breaks support, support no longer exists. All right. That is why it appears and disappears. The software is created to mimic how the market moves. Support is there. When price breaks through it, support no longer exists. Resistance is there. When price breaks through it, resistance is no longer there. All right. So that's the first thing I look for is the zones. All right. I got 2 close to the zones. GCAT had a zone right there. All right. GBP NZD staying underneath. Again, we're finally getting deeper into the session. We're starting to see a little more volatility. An easy way to see true volatility is you start to see price move up and down a lot faster. And you start to see stronger candles. You can see here yesterday, the beginning of London session, small candles. But then when you start to see a trend, you start already seeing price move the later you get into the actual session. All right. So for us, we're going to go on here. We're going to be here from 12 a.m. Central to 3 a.m. Central. All right. That's 3 hours. London session starts at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. So typically, I started the money zone 2 hours early because sometimes you have significant movement an hour or 2 hours before London. All right. By the time you get to London, it's go time. All right. So we should typically see some movement truly here in about 35 minutes. But we could see some before then. All right. So that's what I look for. GBP USD taking off, but it didn't meet the criteria. Market starting to turn around. We'll talk about more in video number 6, or strategy number 6, which is the market maker. It's going to be a series, probably going to be about 2, maybe 3 videos to kind of help you guys understand the mindset of the market makers. And then the last video will be how to actually take the trades. They are going to be powerful so that you guys will truly understand more of what's going on. The market makers love, especially Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, where there are potential transitions in the zone, changing the trend. They love to fake you out after Asia session, going into the beginning of London, and then they typically have their true trend in London. So as we see pairs starting to move up, GU's moving up, GN is starting to move back up, GCAD is starting to move up. I'm not worried about GJ and G Swiss franc, G chef, because they're at zones. But you start to see some strength in the zone the closer we get to London, as the market makers look to fake you out. We see the trend here is uptrend, and then out of the money zone yesterday, there's a fake out. It's a drop. So now people are like, oh, the uptrend is over with. Sell, sell, sell. They're all trapped down here, and guess what? Market maker said, thank you. I got all your money. I'm heading back in the direction of the overall trend. That is why we trade with the trend. That is why we utilize the bounce arrow go method. And that is why we only trade inside the money zone with the volatility. All right. It keeps us away from being faked out by the market makers. All right. Sound trading principles. All right. So again, correlating pairs. I'm looking at Do we have multiple pairs sitting at, ranging or at another zone? Too close for a buy. Uptrend, I'm looking for buys only. Too close to the zone, I would take a buy anyway. Too close to the zone. So that's 2 out of the 6, which means the other 4 had to be perfect. GCAD had room, but we knew the zone was too wide. So for the breakout, no. The bounce was here outside the money zone, so no bounce. GN, we got a bounce inside the money zone, but we got 3 that are, from a correlation standpoint, don't look good. This could pan out. Could pan out. If you took the trade, hey, you're following the rules. I wouldn't take the trade just because from a correlation standpoint. GBP USD broke up. I didn't take the trade for the breakout because we had a huge spread here between the high and the low of the AJ channel, over 50 pips. And in GI, same thing. GI actually met the rules. It's the only one that met the rules. And for those who got in, lost. And I just explained why you would have lost from a correlating standpoint. You did not have the same breakout mentality that GI showed in the beginning. And it turned right around. And it went more than 40 pips to the downside. So if you entered in a trade up here, that's 50 pips. 50 pips the wrong way. If we utilizing a 40 pip stop loss, you lost the trade. Hopefully you didn't take the trade, and hopefully you understand why now not to take a trade. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I didn't see this. I just know the pound pairs. I've been trading for so long. And I saw the correlation that they're not looking to break up to the upside. So that's why that was the only one that qualified with the Asia session breakout. And that's the reason why I did not take the trade. Because even though it qualified, correlation did not show that it was going to break out. It tried to break out, and it came right back down quickly. So hopefully it makes sense, guys. Hopefully you start to understand, it's great to understand when not to take a trade. I'm sorry, when to take a trade, but it's even better to know when and why not to take a trade. I got a request to look at CHF JPY. So we'll look at CHF JPY. If I haven't got to your questions yet, guys, I apologize. A lot of questions. I'm only one man. So GU making a nice little move. GN trying to make a move. If you got that GN bag entry, hey, you are probably in profit. Probably in profit. I like the way things are moving now. GCAD is moving up. So let's take a look at it here. GR is starting to move back up. GU is up. GN. Let's see if we can get a strong break over the Asia session. GCAD is starting to move up. GJ is moving up. We're at the zone. We're at the zone. We'll see. We'll see what time tells. Time tells. So CHF JPY. Now, just because I say I wouldn't take a trade now doesn't mean that I don't change my mind 15, 30, 45 minutes, an hour later. Things change. The market is always changing. So just because you say, oh, I went to the trade, doesn't mean you should say no an hour later. All right. So keep that in mind. So I have to go add CHF because I don't trade that pair. Okay, I got to select it. Let me go find it. CHF Oh, there we go. I just skipped over it. CHF CHF is in a downtrend. We got 4 red, 2 green. It's just ranging. So, it's too close to zone. So I'm not touching it at all. If you see this, guys, this is messy. Constant up and down, just bouncing off, off the ceiling, off the floor, off the ceiling, off the floor, over and over again. That just means price is ranging, which means you can't do anything about it. Don't worry about it. Close the chart or move away to a different pair. All right. You want to see more of these open skies, more room to run. When it gets like this, don't worry about it. There's nothing you can do. You do not control the market. The software, AIRO, is just giving you an indication of what the market is doing and letting you know if you have the opportunity to trade. Can you take a trade? Sure. You're probably going to lose. So you do what? You do nothing. You move on to a different pair. G pairs don't want to break up. See what I'm saying, guys? See what I'm saying? Don't want to break up. Look good for a second. It's coming on back down. Coming on back down. Josh, what's going on, man? Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by, my brother. Good to see you on, man. Next time we have to get you on here to take some trades with us, man. If anybody wants to see our CFO come on a call and drop and call out a trade for us, hey, let's drop a 777 in the chat. If you guys want to see the CFO get on here and call out some trades. See, Josh, the team, they want to see you out here, man. Look at that. They want to see you out here. Come trade with us, man. Come jump on with us. That's love right there, Josh. That's love. Wouldn't that be great? CFO helping you guys make money? Or I don't know any CFOs that help make money. They usually manage the money for the company, but to have a CFO come out here and help you guys make money, hey, that'd be great. Josh, when you're ready, man, let us know. We're ready for you. All right. Let's see here. I'm going back to the Q&A box, guys. All right, guys, I mentioned market makers and institutional investors. I will not be trading on that or training on that until the time comes. So when those videos come out, we'll talk more about that. Master strategy number one. If you're not catching two trades, 1 to 2 trades a day consistently with strategy number one, don't worry about the institutional investors. Practice the basics, guys. You have to be able to walk before you can actually get on a hoverboard and ride. If you can't balance your own body and walk, you can't ride a hoverboard where you have to have true control over your balance. It's the same thing with Forex trading. Do not worry about advanced trading techniques and analogies and strategies if you can't master the basics. All right? It's not going to do you any good. You need to understand the basics for you to understand the advanced. And again, I understand. I probably, if I were in your shoes, be asking the same questions. But you need to take the time to master the basics. Otherwise, you can be trying to trade strategy number 6 and 7, and you're going to be asking questions like, why do I keep losing? And I'm going to simply tell you, if you haven't mastered the basics, there's plenty of reasons why you're probably losing, but you have to master the basics. These videos that I'm putting out, strategy after strategy, go from a beginner to intermediate to advanced. They're put out in a way that you can understand. Start off with number 1, work your way to 2, 3, 4, so forth and so on. All right. If I don't answer your question in Q&A, it's most likely because I'm talking about it, openly to everybody. All right. All right. We got most of it out of the way. I don't see too much going on in the chat. Let's go back and look at the charts. Coming back down. GPNZD trying to break out, come back down. GA dropping like a rock. GPUSD trying to fly. If you got into GBPUSD, about 17 pips, it ran up. Not bad. It's the only one that already broke up. The only one that already broke out. Everything else is down. So you see, you can still get a trade out of some, but it's better to just stay out because you never know. There's no point of guessing. Again, this is not a 50-50 business. We are in the business to make money, not to break even. A lot of these gurus with the 1 to 3, 1 to 7 ratio are 50 to 60% traders, all right? Which is not bad because their risk to reward ratio works and their winners are significantly bigger than the losers, therefore they make money. But if you have a strategy and that's or a trading system that consistently wins 80, 85, or 90% of the time, you don't need to have those tight stop losses. I would rather win 8 out of 10 than 4 out of 20. That's just me. That's just me. All right, because those 16 you lost with that 4 out of 20, depending on your risk to reward, you mess around and lose out, overall. All right, on your total, pips. Because again, it's not about dollars and cents, guys. Master catching pips, and then all you have to do is adjust your lot size, and the money will come. If you can consistently catch 50 to 100 pips a day, consistently, then all you have to do is adjust your lot size up, and the amount of money you want to make will come there. Master catching pips, all right? Another reason it's slow, guys, is that time of the year. I'll keep repeating this. If you trade this time, you may want to cut your take profits in half, or just trade demo, or don't trade at all. All right. So a few things you guys should be doing. I'll explain what I would do. This time of year, I would just be going back and reanalyzing the charts. You can't go back too far. Someone asked about it. Arrows only go back so far. And the money zones, not the money zones, the support and resistance zones only go back so far. All right. There's a reason for that. It's all based on ensuring that you're seeing what's going on currently. You might be able to see current week, but that's all you need to pay attention to. All right. I'm not teaching some of the charts of going back and back testing and looking, 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter, the software does it for you in multiple ways. All right. So I'll show you. Look at this zone right here. All right. Top of the zone, support. You can see prices there, right? All right. So let's go look at it. Look, before we got there, it hit that level, hours earlier. Let's go back and look further. See if we can't find another area where it hit. Man, I didn't know this. Look at that. We're talking about back on December the 9th. So we're talking about a week ago. Look at that. Price came to it and rejected it. All right. That's a level of support. Look at it again. Broke it here, came back, retested it, and then dropped. All right. Let's go back and look at it some more. Do we see it again? Let's see. What I'm showing you guys here is that the price repeats itself over and over again. These zones are popping up in areas where it has popped up before in the past. So you don't need to worry about going back and back testing too often because you're going to get confused. All right. Until you become more of an experienced trader, you want to just stick with the rules. Follow the rules. Worry about the now, maybe 2 or 3 days ago. That's about it. You guys will see that we look at strategy number 4. We look at the previous day for entry. You understand that. But as a beginner, do not overwhelm yourself with things that I have not talked about. When you start adding additional things, that's where you overwhelm yourself and you start to confuse strategies. You start to confuse rules. And next thing you know, you find yourself losing. Just stick with the strategies. Stick with the strategies you see over and over again. GBP AUD for a sale. Man, GBP AUD for the sale. It's dropping. GBP USD starting to slowly come back down. GBP NZD starting to come back down. CAD just kind of ranging. Just kind of sitting there. Market down and dead right now, so not really much going on, guys. Not much going on. So might not see too many trades tonight, guys. I apologize. It's the time of year. It's the time of year. Yep. Someone said to be reactive and not predictive. Exactly. No one can predict the accuracy of the market. So you want to be able to be reactive to what's going on. What do you see? All right. And have a sound strategy on why you are doing what you're doing based on what you see. And the reason why is because it happens over and over again. All right, those who are going to bed, man, appreciate you guys jumping on. Appreciate you guys jumping on. All right, guys. Let me see if I remember anything you guys asked about. A lot of questions in the chat today. Trying to think of anything I need to go over for you guys. Mark is dead, guys. Mark is dead. I'm hoping we can get something picking up here in about 12 minutes when London session officially starts. So London session officially starts here in about 12 minutes. So hopefully we can get some movement in the market. Let's see what else we got out here. That time of year though, I'll keep saying it's that time of year. Things are just kind of slow. Not looking good on USD JPY. I got some questions coming into the Q&A box. Let's see here. Yep, London and the Swiss franc interest decision. So you have some news coming out tonight. We'll look at it. All right. So someone asked about USD CAD. I guess there's a down arrow. So we'll take a look at USD CAD real quick. Let's see what's going on. USD CAD around 12 a.m. So for me, your 12 a.m. may be different than my 12 a.m. So the down arrow, it met the criteria: bounce, arrow, go, so the second consecutive down arrow. But for me, it's not inside the money zone. So I'm not looking to take that trade. I wouldn't have took that. That's just me though. I don't trade like if it's not inside the money zone. I don't typically look out. I don't look at trades. I'm off the charts. This zone right here is a time frame I'm typically looking at the charts. If it's outside the time, I'm not really looking at it. All right. Stay disciplined. As you get more experience, you can take trades outside the money zone. I've done so. I've done it. However, I don't typically do it. But if you do it, make sure you just trade with the trend. Trade in the direction of the trend. But I typically stay away from that because again, it's all about high probability trades. High probability. I got multiple people asking about my IG account. So it's at Nate Got the Bag. So I'm gonna put it into the chat. In my IG. Those who want to follow me on Instagram at Nate Got the Bag. I just put that in the chat. For those who want to follow me on Instagram. Euro GBP. Let's go look at it. So Euro GBP had a it had a zone here. It finally broke out of. And you can see here the bounce arrow. Well, first of all, we zoom out. We're in a downtrend. All right, we're in a downtrend. The arrow came on the candle outside the money zone. And we're less than 20 pips away. So I wouldn't take the trade. Less than 20 pips away, and the entry is outside the money zone, so I wouldn't take the trade. I wouldn't take the trade. Plus, there was a zone right here. That zone disappeared because price did break through it. So there was another zone right here. So remember, the zones disappear and reappear all the time. Don't get confused by that. And remember, don't enter late. You see the zone break through, don't enter in late unless you know what you're doing. Last week, I know we caught a GJ trade because it broke through the zone. Well, if you remember, all the other pairs, and I might not have talked about it last week, but all the other pairs were correlating in a downtrend. Majority of them had room to move. And so it was easy for us to identify that, okay, if price breaks through this zone, we will enter the trade. And we entered in, and everyone caught 20 pips in that 15-minute candle. All right. But that's because of the correlation. We understood where the market was going because we had the opportunity for pairs to correlate and for us to see that. All right. Correlation is key, or one of the keys. The more you understand that, the better. Like I said, it kept me out of losing a lot of money. I'd have been mad. Because at this point, you'd have had no profit. Not even seen profit. Like, these are the worst trades to get into when you just go straight against you the opposite way. But the more you understand why it did that, the better you'll be in the future. All right. Again, I'm not a prophet. I can't read the market, but I understand correlation. That's why I traded pound pairs, because if I have correlation, I can typically, and it matches my rules, I might jump in 2-3 trades on multiple pairs, or jump into one TP, jump in another one TP. It allows you to be able to see opportunities with other pairs, and you just switch back and forth. All right, guys, got a couple people asking me, how do they get this indicator? How do they get AIRO? Whoever invited you to this call, make sure you get back with them, and they will get you set up. All right, whoever invited you to the call, make sure you get back with them, and they will get you set up with AIRO. All right. Multiple questions about creating a PDF for question and answers. So Zoom doesn't allow that. They don't have that feature, and we don't have a individual on the call that is handling, writing down the questions and answers. So if you want to, you can go back and watch the recording. We do record all calls, and they'll be posted in the channel. So this call will be posted in the channel tomorrow. All right, keep that in mind. All right, we got 2 o'clock. London here. Let's jump in the charts. See what we got going. London session. Any turnaround? GU. Everything else kind of dead. Still nothing going on. Jump back in the Q&A real quick, guys. Thank you. You got testimony. Been on one call with me before tonight and used the software for about a week, up 500 in a couple of days. So definitely the power is there. You guys just follow the rules. A lot of people are having success just following the rules. So yeah, I just, hey, I ask and beg you guys, just follow the rules, watch the strategy videos over and over again. Start off with strategy number one, and let's make it happen, guys. Yeah, somebody asked, is this the last call? So yes, this will be the last call with the holidays next week and the week after. Today will be the last call until January. So first week of January, we'll be back to it. You guys enjoy the holidays. I don't trade the last 2 weeks of the year. It doesn't make any sense. If there's not any liquidity in the market, the money's gone, I'm gone. When the money gets back, I'm back. So I'll be back on the charts probably second week of January when I'll be making trades. And we'll be back on these calls though first week of January. And next year, look out for us to have these calls for 12 hours straight. So the game plan is to have 12 hours straight. So the money zone, we're going to have different individuals on for 3 hours at a time throughout the entire money zone. That way you guys can get value and you guys can potentially catch pips. All right. That way, if you don't have the time to get on now, you can get on later. All right. So that's the goal. That's what we're looking for, guys. I'm already interviewing educators. So look for that potentially to start sometime mid to end of January, so that we can ensure that we can give you guys that additional added value, so that you guys can come see things live, ask the questions. Some of the traders that are coming on, that are going to be coming on to help. I think they trade better than I do. They're using it a lot more than I am. So they are in tune with AIRO, and they can give you guys the same value. All right. So keep that in mind. That's coming next year to help out. Got some other pretty cool stuff coming for you guys next year as well on these live trading calls that I don't think anybody is going to see or even understand or comprehend until it just happens. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be some mind-blowing individuals that may guest appear on some of these calls. We'll just leave it at that. All right, we got somebody asking about EuroCAD. Let's go. BTC at 22,560. Man, BTC's taking off. I can't call it. If you're in BTC and you've been holding for a while, hey, congrats to you. Congrats to you. So we'll go look at EuroCAD real quick. EuroCAD. So I don't trade EuroCAD very often. So we will go pull it up real quick. EuroCAD. EuroCAD is 1, 2, 3 reds, 1, 2, 3, 4 green. So we're currently in a uptrend as of right now. So I wouldn't be looking to take a trade. I wouldn't be looking to take anything at the moment. We're in an uptrend, so I wouldn't be looking to take it. Let's see what else we got in the Q&A. Yeah, the BTC's moving. Again, I'm not going to talk about BTC, guys, or dissect the chart because this is more of a call. We're going to stick with the forex pairs. As we get a little more advanced, we may dip into indices and whatnot. I can tell you guys, once we really get the live trading calls going, whoever's trading the New York session, we'll be looking at potentially gold and some of the indices. But try to stay away from those because not everybody has the account size. We don't want people to be trading these, and then be blowing their account because they can't handle the drawdown. That is the reason why we stick away from your cryptocurrencies, your indices, your gold, because of the volatility. It might go 75 pips the wrong way before it goes the 50 pips the right way they were looking for. All right. You got to be able to handle the drawdown. If you don't have the right account size, definitely don't need to. All right. Someone said Euro odd hit 20 pips, take profit. All right. Let's go look at Euro odd. Euro odd. So if you remember, there was a zone right here. So on Euro odd, there was a zone right here. So it could have hit 20 pips, but it ran right into a zone. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, there was a zone right here. It hit about 20 pips. For me, I wouldn't have took that trade because again, it's less than 20 pips to the zone, 13. Now, here's why that rule is in place. As you can see here, the zone was here. You can see price stopped right here. It's a nice little gap. These zones are just an indication of where price may stop. Doesn't guarantee price is going to always come down to it, touch it, and go the opposite way. Sometimes it's going to stop above it. And you see here and here. All right. Then sometimes it's going to go all the way down. All right. You see, it came down here, stopped above it, stopped above it. It didn't continue all the way down. There's no guarantee. Sometimes it comes just right above it. These zones are an area where price may come back to. All right. There's no guarantee. Sometimes you see, like right here, it went through the zone and then it came out of it. Went back into it, then came out of it. Sometimes it just touches the surface. So if I don't have more than 20 pips from my entry to the start of the opposite color zone that price bounced off of, in this case, the support zone, I don't take the trade because there's no guarantee it may go there. It might just drop 6 pips and stop short and then turn around. It's not good. That's why we need to have 20 pips or more. The more room to the next zone, the better. No zone is even better as well. There's no zone there, and it's just clear skies. That's good as well. All right. That is the reason why I say that support and resistance is not a guarantee. You see here, price came into the zone, came out, came back, tested, came out, came back up, didn't even come close to the zone, and then dropped. Then dropped. All right. Lower lows. Lower highs. Here's a high. Here's a low. Here's a high. Here's a low. So you can see every time the high came, it was lower and lower until it finally dropped. All right. But there's no guarantee it's going to always come back and test the zone. So if I don't have 20 pips take profit or 20 pips in between, I'm not looking to take a trade. High probability trades. It will keep you out of trouble because you can put your 20 pips right at this, down here into the zone, and it comes down 6 pips and reverses 100 pips the other way, and you're sitting there like he said, 20 pips take profit. It was a bounce, arrow, go entry, but you have to understand all the rules. Must be 20 pips. Your entry, bounce. Here's an arrow. Arrow came on this candle here. When this candle closed, so your entry would be right here. Only 14 pips to the zone. I'm not taking a trade. It went 20. Sure, it happens from time to time, but it's not guaranteed to happen consistently. All right. It's all about high probability trades. That is how you continue to grow your account. All right. Those people you see in the group chat that are consistently posting their profits day after day, they're following the rules. They're not taking every trade. These rules keep you from doing a lot of things that a lot of beginner traders do. Take trades in the opposite direction of the trend. You follow the rules, you won't do that. It's going to keep you away from chasing candles because there's set rules. Follow the rule. The arrows only pop up when the candle closes. That way you're not chasing a candle. All right? You're not chasing it because it can easily come down. You get in and it goes right back up. And now you're sitting there like, what happened? All right? The software and the rules also keep you from trading into a support or resistance zone. You get in, take profit down here, bounce out of the zone. So all the visuals are there to help you take trades that have high probability win rates and then keep you away from losers, fake outs, all right, false breakouts, all right, It's all about the visual to keep you away from doing that. All right. I wish I had this years ago because it would have helped me stay away from everything I just explained. All right. You got that GBP NZD trade. Not looking good. Not looking good. It got down to 26 pips, 26 and a half. It's probably going to stop you out if you got into that trade. We didn't get in because of the correlation did not tell us to get into. So that's a little bit more advanced, guys. A little bit more advanced, but it should help you understand, hopefully help you understand why I didn't take the trade. Now, as we get deeper into the London session, if we can finally get a bull move to the upside, I might take that trade. But I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that the correlation is holding true and price turning around. Look at that GI trade, man. It's just tanking. This was a straight loser. And you wouldn't have took that trade. I wanted to take it too because I wanted to catch some pips tonight. GU, I didn't take it because again, everything else was going out. It was going opposite direction. Again, another trick. When you see wicks to the upside, that is the market maker collecting all the contracts. People thinking that's the fault. It's going to be a breakout. It's a breakout, Asia session breakout. And guess what? Once they get enough money and collect enough contracts, they're going to shift price quickly to the downside. Trap all those buyers up there and get out. So whenever you see multiple wicks in one direction, that is the market makers spiking price up to collect contracts because they see all the money there. And then they're going to do what? Once they collect enough money, they're going to get out. Right now, they're hanging in here, trying to entice people to buy. Once they get, they're going to shift the zone in the opposite direction. You can already see they're doing that with GI. They got out quick. They had a breakout, Asia session breakout. Everybody's like, oh, buy, it's the breakout. They collected a whole bunch of money and then shoo, got out real quick. Real quick. When the market makers get enough money, you will see them shift the zone quickly. Shifting the zone means shifting away from price. The breakout was to the upside. They got all the money they need to this candle, and next candle, drop 20 pips. Played around for 15 minutes, dropped again, 46 pips, another 26 pips. Played around for another 15 minutes and kept dropping. Dropped over 61 and a half pips. All right. GPUSD, a lot of wicks to the upside. I expect price to drop. GPNZD, wicks to the upside. I expect price to continue to go down. If you got into this GPNZD trade here, this bounce arrow gold trade, you probably will get stopped out. No guarantees, but you probably will get stopped out. Look at that. Look at all those wicks to the upside. Oh my goodness. Wick, 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 wick. 3, 4 a.m. Standard Time. Or get ready for New York time. I expect what? Drop. G Chef. Playing around. Look like trying to break out. A lot of wicks to the upside. Wouldn't be surprised if this one came back down to make a nice wick. So again, not enough of the pairs moving in the right direction. Now let's go see what they look like when they move in the right direction. All right, so you guys can understand what it looks like in the right direction and how you can actually make some money. So we're gonna look at, today is Thursday. We're gonna look at London session. This would have been Tuesday night. All right. So look at Tuesday night. You see here, uptrend, bounce, arrow, go. Nice movement up. All right, nice movement up. You got your 20 pips in less than 30 minutes. All right, so that's 2 nights ago. Let's go look at GBP USD. Was there a similar correlation 2 nights ago with GBP USD? 1, 2. Look at that correlation. Bounce. You got 2 arrows. Arrow, go. 40 plus pips and an arrow, go. 34 plus pips. GBP NZD. Let's go look at 2 days ago. Boom, look at that. Bounce, arrow, go. Draw down about 13 pips. Ran up 91. GP CAD. We'll look at 2 nights ago. 1, 2. Look at that. Bounce. AIRO. Little drawdown. 30 pips. Round up 76. Actually, we got 24 on that first candle. We actually got out in the first 15 minutes on the first entry. Second entry, we had to hold a little longer. So that's now 4 pairs that were correlating in the same direction. So now you get an idea of what it looks like when they correlate in the right direction. Look at that. GJ. 16. Drop. 35. Boom. 48. You got 20. 20 pips take profit. 40 pips stop loss. Never hit stop loss. We're good. G Chef. Let's go back and look 2 days ago. I hope you guys are seeing this here. Correlation. Boom. Entry. Shoo. 70 plus. 33 right there. I mean, you got double entries and caught 20 plus both times. I mean, literally within like 30, 45 minutes, an hour, you could have had 2 entries right there. And what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. An hour and like about hour 45 minutes, you could have had 40 pips. Just a G Chef. So that's correlating when they're correlating in the right direction. Now we're seeing correlating in the wrong direction. Why we didn't take the trade. All right. So hope you guys see that. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. That's just a trick that I utilize. Keeps me out of trades, but then sometimes I miss trades. You know, like we did with GBP/USD. GBP/USD ran up. Let's see if it did run up to 20 pips. We had the ASIS breakout, and it ran up 22 pips. So even though it didn't meet the criteria and we went into the trade, it still ran up over 20 pips. But it's the only one. The rest of them didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. GI was as soon as it broke out and closed above, we lost. GN still dropping, guys. From entry, we're now looking at about 26 pip drop. Still going. I expected it to hit 40 pips or more the wrong way, which means you'd have been stopped out. So I hope you guys are seeing this from a correlation standpoint. You know, this will be I'll talk about this in the AIRO video, AIRO secrets video. I'll probably have multiple videos because there are multiple secrets. So, you know, one of the secrets I taught you guys last week was, you know, if you have the same number of zones, how do you know which direction to trade in? Another, you know, some other secrets as well. So we'll go over some of these things that you guys can have this video documentation to watch just to help remind yourself and refresh yourself to be able to, you know, be a great trader, you know, utilize the software later on down the line. Let's go back to Q&A. Q&A. Somebody made a comment that GBP/USD did great because the DXY is tanking. So that's correlating pairs. You know, understanding what pairs correlate with what. Like for example, GBP/JPY typically goes in the same direction as the indices. I don't know why, but the Great Britain pound, Japanese yen typically goes in the same direction as the indices. So if I see that S&P 500 is trending in one direction, you can bet the farm that GJ is typically going in that same direction as well. Jump back on the chart, see what we see, guys. You see something called out, we'll take a look at it. GI tanking, GU starting to come back. It's one of them dead nights, guys. Might even called early. Might just called early. G-Chef trying to break up. Yeah, man. market's just dead tonight. Typically, what I like to do, S&P 500 just took off. What I like to do, guys, is if I see that the market is dead, typically I'm on a chart from the first 2 hours of the money zone, maybe the first 3 hours, just to see how London starts off. If it's dead, I typically go to sleep and wake up to try to trade New York session. That way, I don't waste my time just up all night. There's been many nights where I'm up till 4 or 5 o'clock waiting for trades, and then the worst thing you can do is get into a trade at 4:59. At 5 o'clock, and then be holding a trade, and now you get no sleep. So we got about 30 minutes left. I think we're gonna call it early, guys, just due to the fact that the market is dead. It's that time of year. All right. So, is there any more Q&A? I don't sleep. No sleep for the weary. Matter of fact, no sleep for the weary. I'm always up doing something. All right, 2:30. Let's go take a look real quick. Just got a AIRO. Let's go see what's going on real quick. Euro CAD, no entry. Uptrend, but never bounced off anything. Got a bounce here and arrow up. Then you got the down arrow and the up arrow. Too close to the zone. This, it's not two consecutive up arrows, so we're not taking anything. Which means that we are has been called tonight. We'll see you guys in the funny papers. But if I don't talk to you guys in the group, for you guys and everyone, streaming online is watching on Facebook. Happy holidays to you guys. If you're going to trade the remainder of the year, make sure you practice proper risk management. Be careful. All right. And hey, as always, follow the rules. All right, guys.